We're in the home stretch. Week 15 is here. Our predictions record is actually getting pretty good. It's 27-23. It's not where we want it to be, but it's much better than where we were. And these games, we got a lot of divisional games this week, which usually happens later in the year. As we have the New England Patriots will travel to Miami to face the Miami Dolphins. They're giving the Dolphins are favored by 2.5. That makes sense because you saw what happened to New England against the Rams. And the Dolphins have or want revenge due to what New England did to them in week 1 earlier in the year. And I think I said this last week that the Dolphins were going to beat the Chiefs because of this defense. They didn't beat the Chiefs, but they forced Mahomes into a lot of situations that he probably didn't want to be in. He got sacked 3 times. He threw 3 interceptions. So, had the Dolphins figured out how to unlock the vault, how to stop Mahomes? I mean, they still gave up points, but they kept the game close. They only lost by 6. So, they're giving the Dolphins 2.5. That's a lot of sense. Divisional game, low scoring game. Dolphins are going to win. I think they're going to win 20-17. Then we have the Bucks versus the Falcons. They're giving the Falcons 6 points to keep up with the Tampa Bay Bucks. And if the Buccaneers run the ball, do they win this game? Yes. They would win this game if they can run it. Because they can't drop back and throw it 50 times. That's just not the offense that they are, and that's not what Brady's comfortable with. So if the Bucks run the ball, they can win. Again, low scoring game, divisional game, and that usually means that they play harder, because you have to win your division. That's your main goal as a player and as a coach, is win your division. So the Bucks can win this if they figure out a way to slow down this Falcons offense. Because since Raheem Morris took over as interim head coach, this defense has been amazing. It wasn't the offense that was struggling when Dan Quinn was the head coach. It was this defense. So when Dan Quinn was fired and Raheem Morris was taken as a head coach, that was very shocking that he would get a head coaching job. It was almost good in a lot of ways because they've been very good on that defense. But with that being said, Tampa's been better. They've been playing amazing. If they run the ball, they win this game. Bucks are going to win by a touchdown. They're going to win 28-21. Then we have the San Francisco 49ers versus the Dallas Cowboys. Two teams that are very familiar with each other. They've played each other so many times. Like, giving the Cowboys 3 points, I'm going to take the 3 points for the Cowboys because here's the reason why. I don't trust Nick Mullins. I don't. I think with Nick Mullins there is one issue. He struggles with pressure, which a lot of quarterbacks do. But he doesn't get the ball out quick enough. And Deebo Samuel's now out with a hamstring injury. That's not going to help him. And this defense isn't that great for both teams, for the 49ers and the Cowboys. But I trust Andy Dalton to be better when he has a chance. Because when Andy Dalton has time, he's been pretty good this year. It's really when he's forced to have to make a throw that he knows he probably can't make. Also, I expect a lot more of a heavy dose of running the ball. We will see where Zeke is. He still is fighting through that bruise on his thigh that was a really nasty gash. And so we'll see if he's really going to be able to play. So I expect a heavy dose of Tony Pollard. But I think the Cowboys can win this. They're going to win. Tight game. They're going to win, I think by a touchdown. They're going to win 24-17. And the last game is the Chiefs versus the Saints. Now, if you're the Saints, and if you're Saints fans, you're not happy. You hated the fact that Jalen Hurts played so well against you. They're going to probably try and take that out on the Chiefs. Now, if you're the Chiefs, you beat the Dolphins. You saw what the Eagles did to the Saints defense, so you got to be happy. But if you're the Saints, how do you slow down this Chiefs offense? Well, you can't beat them speed-wise. You can't. I'm going to give this 2 predictions. Here's why. If Drew Brees is back and they don't miss a beat, the Saints win this game. Because I think Drew Brees is that person that they need. He demands your respect as a defense. So I'm going to say that they would win. It would be high scoring nonetheless, but they're going to win. If the Saints have Drew Brees, they're going to win a score of 45-38. But if Taysom Hill's playing and not Drew Brees, the Chiefs are going to win by 42-5. And 2 questions this week. We have, does Mike McCarthy deserve to be back for the 2021 season? Yes, here's why. This offense has been really good. They've been really good when they have the ability to make plays, because they can move the ball. They just struggle in scoring. And I think a lot of that's because of injuries, and it's just, they have to figure this out slowly, and I think they are doing that. They are still trying to figure out, is this really a pass team or a run team? I think they're going to have this whole offseason to really think that through. But yes, Mike McCarthy deserves to be there. But we did hear that there could be possible changes to the staff. So who moves on and who does not? Well, I don't think it's John Fossil, the special teams coordinator. I think he's done a really good job. Because the Cowboys' special teams have always been really bad. They're always like in the bottom half of the league, or like 24th, I think was their highest. They don't make a lot of special teams plays. With John Fossil coming over from the Rams last year to come to the Cowboys this year, he moved the Cowboys from like dead last year to 13th or 14th in the league. And it will continually get better. But I think the decisions need to be a little calmed down. I think some have been good plays, some have been bad plays. We just gotta slow this down. But Hunter Nicewander has been a really good piece for the injured Chris Jones. I think he's been amazing. So I think this is gonna be a defensive staff blow up. Unless the Cowboys defense plays really well, I don't see Mike Nolan staying around. Does everyone else move on? Who knows? It's going to be interesting. Because if they do have an off season, I think that's going to help the Cowboys out immensely. It's going to help the Cowboys out immensely because the Cowboys are so banged up. And even when they're not banged up, they don't even know really what they're doing. So they just struggle over and over, and they're hesitating. And that second of hesitation is what's killing them. But because they showed that they can make plays, it's just, can they deal with that? Can they figure out what they have to do in terms of a team on that defense? Who's going to probably take over that job? I don't know. I think you have to, though, figure out, do you bring veterans? Yes, but if we don't have an offseason, do you try to go back to what you did a few years ago, where you implemented a whole new, when you went with the 4-3 defense? This whole year has been all over the place. I think if you're a team, I think you can be better. And our last question is, the Eagles' problem, I think, who do they start? Well, we saw what Hurts did. I think he definitely starts the rest of the year. But if you head into next year, and you're like, who's going to be the quarterback? Well, if Hurts wins 2 of 4 or 3 of his 4 starts, you give him a shot next year. That's pretty much decided. What happens then to Wentz? Well, if you cut him, if you release him, $59 million of dead cap money. If you trade him, where do you trade him? Because the one thing that you probably could trade him for, in terms of money-wise, that could take on that kind of a contract would be the Jets, and they're probably much going to go for Trevor Lawrence anyway, so it doesn't really make any sense. And then also, who do you, because like, you also have to talk about draft capital. How do we get him over here? You know, or away from here. It's very difficult. And if you don't trade him and you don't cut him, now you have a guy on the bench most likely, who has a bulk of your salary cap for the next 2 years. Impossible to move. It's really a damper on your team. Because if you cut him, you can't use that money anyway. So, it's becoming a point of Hurts should play. Because like, I think a lot of it is, everyone's like, well, it's Carson Wentz's confidence that's really bugging him. Yes, but this team plays better with Hurts. We saw it against the Saints. They played better. They played faster. They're more experienced with Hurts. They didn't give up a sack with Hurts, but they gave up 50 sacks when Carson Wentz was there. So, I don't know. So, what do you guys think? If Hurts is the starter, should they cut Wentz and take their losses? Should they try and trade Wentz? And if so, where do they go? Where do they try and get him to go? Or do they just keep him on the bench, wasting away with a $59 million hit?